Hello. Tonight I have my first experience with DoorDashing religion, and that involves the Mormons, the Church of Latter-day Christ, LDS, the Church of Latter-day Saints, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So I posted. I'm not religious, but I posted to my threads saying that I DoorDash religion, essentially, because Mormons will make house calls. This is the first time I've ever seen missionaries make house calls, or I've been familiar with it. And I was so mesmerized by the existence of DoorDashing, literally getting a belief, a religion, an opinion, a thought to arrive at your home is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. And it makes sense, right? Because every other consumerism type marketing thing, right, after COVID has led to this more home delivery type thing, like we'll meet you where you're at. And Mormonism, LDS, has been demonstrating this since this foundation, when it established its doctrine on missionary work. And so, after I learned about the nuances and how much effort is required for someone to pursue a Mormon mission, I found it absolutely extraordinary, right? Because I posted to my threads that I invited religion to my door. I again, DoorDashed religion. Actually, I use Uber Eats, but whatever. DoorDashed religion to my door. And all the comments, there was like 300 comments or something like that, engagement. There's a lot of comments of people that share their personal experiences, their opinions, and things like that. And so I decided that they required a goodie bag. But before that, I need to talk about the concept behind what a Mormon mission is actually teaching and demonstrating. Humanity often gets confused with understanding the nuances of language and word, and even action. Because the Mormon mission concept falls under the banner or category, label, box, whatever you want to call it, of religion, people often ignore it, and they don't recognize what it's actually doing. First off, they're taught to respond to whatever the community needs, acts of service. Sure, it entails maybe hearing a prayer or something about their beliefs. But if you want someone to mow your lawn, move furniture, clean your house, do whatever that you don't physically want to do, the Mormon missionaries will show up. And if you don't, if you tell them, I literally just need help moving, I don't want to hear any of your crap, I don't want to hear anything about God, I don't want to hear anything about your beliefs, I just need physical bodies to move stuff. They will show up, and they will honor your request and perform manual labor. Tell me, what life skills does that teach? I can name a huge list already from even telling people or describing that experience of what countless strangers and even my own personal research has discovered, because this is a fact and a truth of the Mormon mission, the concept behind a Mormon serving a mission. They do acts of service regardless of what the other person believes or wants to hear. If someone said to them, I don't want you to speak a word to me, they would show up. I say, I just literally want you to move shit for me. They would show up. Because people have shared their stories where they have done such things. So I know it exists. And I don't use the word no lightly. With that, right, so most people that participate in a Mormon religion or a Mormon mission which I have been still ignorant of because I had a senior citizen, a couple of senior citizens volunteer to do a Mormon mission because they want to do it, okay? But besides that, the majority of people that serve a Mormon mission are young people, 18, 20, whatever, before they transition from high school to college. That's a very significant step. In the UK, I believe they refer to it as a gap year. Sometimes it's common to take a gap year between leaving primary or this youthful state into transitioning into what the world they're going to have to face, humanity, the breadth and diversity of humanity. The Mormon religion, right? The concept of the mission is normally geared towards these people in this transition state. Men serve 2 years, women serve 1.5 years. If they get assigned to a place that is abroad, or regardless, if they have to pay. Let me back up. They have to pay for their desire to serve others. They have to pay to get training in how they can better serve others. They don't receive funding from the church. These young people, one person commented $10,000. Can you imagine an 18-year-old saving $10,000 to experience 1.5 to 2 years of unfamiliarity, of resistance, of requiring extraordinary demonstration of effort and willingness to put into effort towards people or even experiences that may not even care about what they believe? Wow. That is impressive. That is a feat for a young person to be able to not only want to practice financial discernment, but also want to immerse themselves into a rather significant duration of unfamiliarity and discomfort. What do you think that does for a human being as far as life skills and development of understanding? Tell me, how many other situations or circumstances facilitate the opportunity for someone so young to demonstrate financial discernment, to demonstrate effort towards their goals, to demonstrate navigation of unfamiliarity and fearful things? Right? Because how many people actually invite and are willing to hear the words of someone that says they're Mormon? Not only that, for someone that says they're on a Mormon mission. And, get this, right? These young people choose to pursue this, right? Because no one has control or power over what they choose to think and believe. Only they have that choice. Sure, external influences may entice them, market to them, employ them, indoctrinate them, whatever you want to call it, persuade them to think a certain way, but only they have the choice to decide how they think. And they have chosen to think that way. They have chosen to devote effort towards something that is ultimately trying to achieve understanding. So why is that not considered honored or reverent? That confuses me. Because fundamentally, their actions demonstrate that they're willing to put in effort, extraordinary effort, in order to pursue understanding. So with that, some of the comments I received, there's 3 things I came across with, right? Because I was originally going to provide snacks, something like that, something hospitable and accommodating. But after I've learned more and gained understanding of what actually the concept of a mission entails and how much effort, resilience, and an extraordinary demonstration of pursuit of understanding that is being exhibited, that deserves acknowledgement beyond just snacks and conversation. So with that, I changed it to a meal. So I'm catering. This was a hard thing because all day yesterday, I went back and forth on preparing a custom meal, hand cooked, and I was going for Mediterranean theme, something that's perhaps maybe unfamiliar to someone, right? Like lamb, that sort of thing, something unfamiliar from I'm in America, right? So I wanted to provide something intimate and a place where people can just, celebrate and exchange words. And so I spent, again, all day yesterday playing with a meal and a culinary experience that would help demonstrate how honored I feel that they accepted my invitation to come to my home. And the more I searched and played with it, I was like, I developed a very significant list of culinary things I needed to acquire to develop this. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized, no, it's the presence, it's the environment that is more important. And I don't necessarily need to devote so much effort, right? Because time is finite right now, for me at least, in humanity's current understanding of it. Time is finite. And so I needed to utilize my time as efficiently as possible to achieve what I actually desired. And what I desired is an experience where humans across different diverse beliefs meet together in a place and celebrate what it means to be even a human. Because behind every belief and opinion and thought is a human. And that's what I desire to learn and understand and experience, is the testimony and stories of those individual and unique humans that are coming to my house. And so with that, I got the meal catered. I got it catered, picking that up. But another thing that I learned was that Mormons, when they're on their mission, they're not able to contact home or communicate with home unless it's during certain times of the year, like Mother's Day or Christmas or things like that. And so someone said, hey, one time I had someone, a missionary, I hosted missionaries, and then I asked them to receive their number so I can go back to the parents and just let them know, like, hey, thank you for this. And a lot of the stories, the parents, out of always like 300, actually, I think it was up to like 500 at one point. I stopped checking it because it became overwhelming with how much inspiration that I was receiving. But the common thread, the common theme was parents desired to hear the outcomes or some of the things of their efforts. And I do that too. Every human does that, right? When you put forth effort into something, you want to perceive what that effort that you devoted, what that seed you planted has borne fruit of. And so their child, their offspring's efforts deserve acknowledgement themselves, which is why I'm doing goodie bags, which I'm about to do, to show you guys what I bought. I'm so excited. But also, all the comments that I received made me recognize that the humans that raised and created those children deserve acknowledgement too. And so I intend to ask my Mormon missionary boys, there's 2 boys coming and then a third member because I am a lone female living. And so they have to have a third member come to make sure it's not like violating their level of comfort. And I'm okay with that. But I want to offer to the 2 missionary boys that are coming to request either a contact or mailing address or something where I can contact their parents to acknowledge the effort that they have done in order for this experience to even occur. And I appreciate that. And I want to acknowledge those efforts. So that's one of the things I'm going to do. So hopefully they, agree to give me that information, but we'll see. But as far as that, one other thing I received from my feedback from my curiosity was that people were like, hey, like, they don't expect anything, which granted, I definitely am aware of. But I invited them into my home and they are my guests. And what they are doing is extraordinary. And so I want to acknowledge that. And so I made them goodie bags, because that was a couple things that came up, was goodie bags kind of thing. Give them something to take home with. So I did some research. I went to Sprouts because I'm aware, I don't like saying no, I'm aware that they prefer to not engage with alcohol, caffeine in certain forms, and unnatural, from their perception, unnatural things. And so I went organic, right? And I love organic things too. And so I gave them things that I would put in my body. I would never provide someone something that I wouldn't myself try. And so with that, I got 2 swig. And I learned that they always travel in pairs, right? They never live alone when they're on their mission. And so there's going to be 2 of them. So I got them both swig gift cards, which I found out originated in Utah. I don't know if they're Mormon, but I would assume they're Mormon because it's based on beliefs or concepts that originate from Mormonism, or the doctrines of belief. And so this is a safe place for them to go. And so I wanted, or perhaps a familiarity of their religion's origins. So I wanted to give them this to support that effort, right, of the religion itself. But beyond that, I'm so excited. Okay, Sprouts. Shout out to Sprouts, first off. I happened to go there when they were just starting their new rewards program. So I signed up and I got a free bag and a free bag of chips. So this is going to them, and this bag is going to them as well. But what I've purchased for them to take home, okay. So I got them 2 packs of sesame roasted spicy seaweed. Organic, doesn't have the things, meets the criteria, right? But it's also perhaps maybe unfamiliar to them, so they can diversify, their experience. These are great. I'm going to offer them at dinner, so I'm going to put them in the fridge. But I wanted to show, and then I'm going to take them home with me. But these sodas, they're prebiotics, so they're good for the gut. But also they don't have caffeine added to them. They don't have sugar added to them. They're all natural. And so I bought them diversity so they can choose tonight at dinner, but also take them home, whatever is not utilized tonight. And then I got them some vegan ramen chicken flavor, and I looked at all these labels to look at all the ingredients to make sure it fit the criteria for what they believed. Okay, so cool, healthy stuff, nature derived, which, to be fair, anything that a human creates is still nature derived because a human is natural. However, we'll stick to the principles of the paradigm. And I got them some chocolate bars, natural flavored chocolate bars, right? Gluten-free oats, chocolate, which is derived from cane sugar, unsweetened chocolate, and cocoa butter. All the things on the label: beets, shiitake mushrooms, gluten-free oat flour. Okay, so I tried. And then I also got them because someone said that fruit snacks. They went on a mission and they had fruit snacks and Capri Suns, and I was like, oh, fruit snacks. I do love fruit snacks. I was going to make them my own fruit snacks or dried fruit, but I decided to just, play it safe because I don't want to make them uncomfortable, because someone in the comments, one person mentioned, hey, someone invited into their house and fed them food that had like cat hair, or like, it was like they almost, I derived their comment or their contribution as saying, hey, sometimes people do this to just purposely harm these people, and I'm not trying to do that. And so I wanted to make it clear that I'm not trying to do that. So I stuck with things that came in packages to decrease the fear that may be derived from a stranger who I have acknowledged, right? I don't believe in religion. I don't like religion at all. I believe in none of them. My beliefs are undefined for a reason, because it allows me to navigate amongst humanity and every paradigm without having a fear of exploring it, right? That's why I have undefined religions. I acknowledge my beliefs are acknowledgement. I acknowledge effort where acknowledgement is due. And so, again, I wanted to honor their beliefs. So I made sure to purchase fruit snacks that made them decrease any sense of fear or insecurity about my intentions. And so I got those. I also got some of these, a bigger pack, because there's different flavors. This one has raspberry, mango, and pineapple, but this one had apple, pear, and strawberry. So got that. And I also got a bag, just because it was funny, sweets and beets. How fun is that? Sweets and beets, right? That sounds fun. Sweets and beets. All right, so I got that. The label's great, cool. Love beets, right? Who doesn't love a beet? It's so harmonious. Okay. And then I recognized, I don't necessarily eat meat that often, so I got a lot of things that perhaps lack protein, even though these things have protein and whatnot. So I got them different sorts of beef jerkies. So this one is venison, grass-fed venison or venison or whatever it is. And then this one is turkey, venison and turkey. And I was like, okay, but just in case they didn't necessarily like venison or turkey, I made sure to get them something that could be perhaps more familiar. Oh, well, I got beef and turkey. I thought I got chicken. Oh, wait, I thought I got, oh, well, Thanksgiving, that people are more familiar with turkey meat. So there's some protein for them. So that is the conclusion of tonight's dinner, or my invitation for my guests. And yeah, I'm very excited about it. I'm aware, right, that they believe they're here to spread their beliefs and the gospel and whatnot. I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. Because the quickest way to acquire believers or understanding of your perspective is to demonstrate it, to demonstrate your understanding. Words are cheap. Anyone can speak words, but not everyone can demonstrate that they understand the words. And so I actually created this opportunity because I wanted to experience and observe whether the words match the actions. And how else better to experience that than to immerse myself in it? Again, anyone can speak words, but not everyone can demonstrate understanding. And so I desire to learn about the human behind the beliefs, to see their level of understanding, to experience that level of understanding. And whether they want to talk about that, whether they want to express that in terms of religion or certain words or vocabulary that they decide to utilize, doesn't bother me, because I understand the underlying message, the underlying meaning. And so I'm very excited about this. So thank you to everyone who contributed to my efforts in designing this moment for myself, a learning opportunity and a chance for me to understand more different perspectives that are often misunderstood. So thank you. Wish me luck on how it goes.